Yes, thanks for staying with us on the Sports Show. The continuation of the legend, Peter Darley, continues. Now, we were just touching briefly on your time finishing up coaching at South Adelaide, and we wanted to get into the Magarey medals. Twice you nearly had it around your neck. What went wrong?
Well, the first one in 1964, I think I was the pretty hot favourite, and I won everything but the Magarey medal. I got 2 cars, I won all the bits and pieces, and but I guess the Magarey medal would have been the pinnacle of the season. I myself was a bit indifferent to it. It would have been nice to have won it, but Jeff Motley got it, which is, went to a good bloke anyway. So the second occasion was 1968, I think, when I was coaching, which was Barry Robrin's first medal. Yeah. I was playing West Torrens, Adelaide Oval.
Yep.
And it was a bit of a relation of mine, Freddie Bills, kept on grabbing me by the hand. And it was a bit of a love-in. And he wouldn't let my hand go. And every time he held my hand, bloody Bob Hall, the umpire, would give Freddie the free kick. And Freddie was holding my hand. And I got a bit sick of being pinged all the time for Freddie grabbing me, and I went to Bob Hall and I said, on quite a few occasions, I went to him, being the one and only umpire on the ground, that, have a look at the situation. And anyway, he pinged me once more in front of the grandstand, and I was exasperated enough to turn around and call him a cheat. And it's probably not the right thing to say, but that came out at the time. And he said, "You're reported." And I said, "Well, I don't care, you're still an effing cheat." Now, the irony of it was that the report came out that I called him a effing cheat, which I didn't. He reported me for calling him a cheat.
Yep.
So technically in those days, if I had have had the right advocate, he would have got me off for the wrong report.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, incorrect report.
Yep.
And the president of the football club took it upon himself to be my advocate. He'd never been an advocate or represented a player before.
Hickenbotham?
I won't mention any names.
Can you say it again, Beth?
Hickenbotham.
Thank you. Yep.
Did I say that?
Just clarity. Yep.
Anyway, he fronted the tribunal and did nothing. The normal advocate, Peter Way, would have got me off like that.
In a heartbeat.
And as it turned out, it was a dead heat. It was a tie, a third, second, and first, and Barry got it. But in those days, once you reported, you never got any votes afterwards. But I know I played a few games. I was pretty cross about it at the end of the day. But the funny thing about it was, after I'd been reported, I went into Channel 7 the next day, and Doug Thomas said, "Well, what did you say?" And I said, "Well, I've been reported for swearing at the umpire." And he said, "What did you say?" And I said, "Well, I've been reported for calling him a effing cheat." And he said, "Oh, that's nothing." And this is off the top of Doug's head.
Yeah.
He said, "That's nothing." He said, "Jack Broadstock got reported for telling the umpire to stick the whistle up his..."
Yeah.
And he got to the tribunal and he said, "I didn't say that at all." He said, "I told him to lay the whistle on the grass."
And got off.
And Broadstock got off, and Doug, as quick as a wink, said to me, "Get up and say that you didn't call him a..." Tell the tribunal that you told him that he'd be better off trucking sheep.
Yeah.
So that's a funny part that came out of it.
You needed Dougie to be your advocate.
Yeah, the long and the short of it is Barry got the first Magarey medal. I missed out, but...
What'd you get? What was your suspension?
1 week for swearing. Supposedly swearing. And I mean, in those days, everybody swore.
Oh, exactly.
I mean, I didn't know a football player that didn't swear, but
Wouldn't be
Bob
any
Hall
players
must have
left.
had a bad day that day, or somebody got out of his jail or something. But
Or
I mean, I've never seen the
Barry.
bloke since Bob Hall, and I don't know how I'd be if I fronted him. But it was just, to me, it was just. It's never ever bothered me but it still would have been nice to have had it. When I look at all the Magarey medals, I went down to see Christine Halbert the other day, and I've seen all the Magarey medals that they've got down there.
Yeah.
And ironically, the 1968 one was the best one there. It had more gold than any of them.
That's yours.
It was mine.
That could have been
No,
yours.
it
Mate,
wasn't
speaking
mine. It was
of
Barry's.
gold and medals and trophies, you gave all of yours to the South Adelaide Footy Club. Now, most people don't do that. What made you?
Well, football has been a big part of my life and has been fantastic. I never ever, football's put me on the map as a person and business-wise and everything. But the monetary and trophies don't mean anything to me. Now, I've got 7 Nucky Cups. Well, I had 7. They're this big. Where do you put them? And I thought, well, I'll give them to South Adelaide, and if they can make something, because I've got a lot of stuff. At the end of the day, they ended up down at Victor Harbour in a shed, and I thought, well, that's not the place for them. And then Chris Halbert, who runs the archives, I spoke to her one day and I said, look, you can have it all. And my mother made scrapbooks of every game that I played.
Wow.
Not only me, but all the other players around, because Mum had a love affair with all the footballers that I played against. And these scrapbooks were, I think there's 3 of them. And it's just everything in it. And my kids didn't want it. I had nowhere to put it. And I thought, well, Christine should have that for football, for posterity. It's
The museum.
And that's where it went. Everything's gone down. But I still open cupboards and find silver trays and bloody knives and forks and
You do
spoons.
too, don't you, Baz? Do you do those
I want
ones?
them.
Yeah, I know, right, yeah, they're everywhere.
But I don't want them. I mean, and my
everywhere.
kids don't want them.
Yeah.
So what do you do? And I think it's fantastic. I've been trying to work on getting a museum, a football museum going in South Australia. Nobody wants to know about it, but it's not about AFL, because I have no respect for AFL. I think it's a nothing game. But I still go and watch SANFL, I go and watch amateur footy, and I go and watch country footy. And there's a lot of heroes that played SANFL, amateur footy and country footy.
Yeah,
and I think there should be a space where all this memorabilia, you take Freddie Bills the other day, who passed away sadly, he gave all his memorabilia away.
Yeah.
Now, you could make an incredible exhibition of all the memorabilia that's around from people like me and everybody. I mean, this country footballers, the way country football and amateur footy is going, that there will be no amateur footy or country footy in 10 years' time.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Yep.
I'll have all amalgamated. Now, you go to the rooms and all that memorabilia will get lost.
Yes.
Nobody will want it. And there should be a place, and I've spoken to SANFL, I've spoken to clubs, I've spoken to solicitors, I've got a space, I think, I've been offered a space at Adelaide, but nobody can get their head around it. They want everybody to tip in 10 million. Well, I could set it up for 50 grand.
Yeah.
Change it. It doesn't have to be. Some of the best museums, art gallery in the world, so like this place here, it's bits and pieces. You don't have to have it pristine. And
Yes.
And but I'd love to see a place there. Now you imagine a football museum Hall of Fame here in Adelaide. Everybody that came to a Crows game or would go and see some good memorabilia from good football times.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm just rather sad that I can't get too many people interested in a museum or a football, South Australian Football Hall of Fame, not AFL.
All right, we've got to wrap it up. Pete, really appreciate your time coming, mate. We could stay here forever and talk to you. We need to get someone involved in that museum to support Pete's idea. I think it's a beauty, Baz. You'd be on the same as me. Stay with us, though. Still plenty to come on the show.